Hey guys, welcome to 31 Days of Tarot. This is day 20, and the prompt for today is what is your favorite tarot spread of the moment? Um, I know we get bonus points if we show it, but it's such a long process. I would have to set up the camera in a totally different way, and I want to get a lot of these videos out and done while I have some time, which is, like I explained in the first video, why you guys are seeing me in the same outfit and the same position for all of these videos. So my favorite of tarot spread of the moment is a modified opening of the key. It's the first operation of the opening of the key. You can find the entire operation in the back of the Book of Thoth. There's I think there's four different stages. I only use the first stage. And I'll kind of go through it a little bit and explain, but this is how I have been doing readings for myself. This is how I've been doing readings for clients. And the response has been pretty great. And I really feel like I can get a much better and deeper reading. And also, as a side effect, more predictive tarot reading, which is something that I'll talk about, or I may have already talked about in one of the other prompts. I'm kind of doing these a little out of order. But yeah, so what you do is you use the entire deck for this. You shuffle the deck and you go from right to left in four piles. So first you cut the deck in half. The first pile is for Yod or fire, or wands. The second pile that you make out of the half of that is the vow pile, or the air pile, or the swords pile. And then you split the first pile into another in half again, just to the left of that. So in between the first two piles that you made. So that's the first hay of the tetragrammaton and the water pile, or the cups pile. And then you take the vow pile, cut that in half, and that is the hay primal, or the earth pile, pentacles pile, or discs, depending on what deck you're using. So you have four piles in front of you. The next thing you do is you flip all of those piles over and look at the card on the bottom. Now, what you are supposed to do with the opening of the key is to read every pile. I don't do that. When I'm reading for a client, that would take me like 10 million hours. And if that's the kind of reading I'm going to do, then great. But I usually pick one or two piles depending on the question. So if somebody asks me how they can grow their business, I may do the earth pile, because that is the one that primarily deals with money, primarily deals with work. But I might also do the fire pile, because that pile to me is business dealings and growth and things like that. If somebody asks me about love, I might go to the cups pile. If somebody asks me about school, I might go to the air pile, etc., etc. But the first thing I will do is read that bottom card and see which pile wants to be read for that specific situation. So naturally, you'd think for the love question, you'd go with the cups, you'd go with the water pile. But if you look at that card and that card tells you something averse, or not really, it's not really informing that subject, I might pick something different. If, for example, the Two of Cups is in the earth pile, I might read the earth pile for that. So I decide which pile I'm going to read, or which piles, plural, I'm going to read from reading those bottom cards. And I pick the pile and I spread them out in a string. Now, I have a very small space to read in, and so they don't go in one long pile. They usually go in rows, but I do treat them, I read them left to right, from the top card to the bottom card. And I do what's called card counting. There are a specific set of rules for what each card is. And I'm not going to go through those because it's huge. There's a ton of rules, but and I don't know them all by heart. So there's that. So I follow the rules and I count the cards. I decide where I'm going to start in the string. So, for example, if it's a love reading and the Two of Cups came up, I might start with that card, or the Ace of Cups, or I don't know, something that makes sense for that reading. And I will count cards and see where it goes to next. And then you read the next card, and then you count to the next card and the next card. And that's how you read them. So you don't read them in a row. You read them based on these card counting rules. The other things I do for this reading is I look and see how many major arcana there are, how many aces there are, if there's a predominance of one element over another, if there is a predominance of one number over another. Say I have 4 nines. What does that mean for this reading? Say I have 2 aces. I have the Ace of Wands and I have the Ace of Cups, but I don't have the Ace of Swords and I don't have the Ace of Pentacles. What does that mean for the reading? How do those things inform? I don't use every single one of these tricks in every single reading. That's where a little bit of the intuition comes in. You still intuitively have to decide which things, which messages in this string of cards is important. The counting goes from one card to another, but sometimes I might read the cards in pairs starting from the outside going in. Sometimes I might count counterclockwise, and sometimes I might count the other way, you know? So it depends. That's where your gut feelings, where your intuition comes. That might also mean that something like I said before, having 2 aces might be important, but it might be more important the aces you don't see. So for the moment, that is my favorite long, lengthy, really meaty tarot spread, is the first operation of the opening of the key. And I hope that I can do some examples of those readings, because they really are not only fun for me, fun in a nerdy way, but they really kind of pull out quite a bit of information, and they're really kind of cool to get into. So maybe I'll do some example readings for you guys to see how that works out. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next prompt.